Hey guys, welcome to the channel Marzu Digital Learning and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis in Manipuri. Ngasi August ki tang 12 Friday numit ki newspaper analyze tawba horasi. Newspaper si analyze tawba hodringai da please aigi channel asibu subscribe to biramu and video sibu like to biramu. Ahanba topic se thumbnail ge topic se dagi horasi. Dhankar sworns in as vice president. Vice president anauba makhale India ge vice president hanana Venkaya Naidu oirami hojikna mu Jagdeep Dhankar hariba masina Vice President 14 suba Tramari suba Vice President of India oireba ko magi esina 71 ni sida ikoina yengdori se kanano sima ikoina ya to bayare ko ningsing bayare Jagdeep Dhankar se ikoigi India ge Vice President ni haina and plus Vice President ki election se kamaina tawbano habado adumaga tammase ko Vice President ki election se koigi exam gi oina yam important oeba yengasi Election to the office of the Vice President of India, JS Paper 2, Parliament, Executive, Federalism, Election Sigamari Lane. What are the provisions related to the Vice President? Vice President ge Constitution da kari provision no. The Vice President say India ge second highest constitutional office in India oi. He or she serves for the 5-year term. Ko chahi manga gi term ni serve tawdoris and kariguma chahi manga se continue to bi ai ko karam kanda ikhoye emergency situation gumma leiba matamda ko thengma matamda sahi manga sidagi hena su tawba yai bada Vice President may be resign tawba yai by submitting magi resignation do President of India da submit tawraba matungda and hek submit tawraga accepted tawba numito adudagi ma se resign tawre haina lawgane ba ko submit tu gi amu except tawraga ID atopa provision darkar ta deba. The Vice President can be removed by the office from office tagi ma se remove to bi kanana Council of State haibadi Rajya Sabha na and pass the majority of its member na pass to bata and House of the People na su magi resolution se House of the People da su agree to badarkar ta Vice President se lokthoke haiba taragadi and aduga sigi pot se last minimum ko at least minimum 14 days ki mamangda sigi intention se resolution se Vice President lokthok pagi tawri haiba se 14 days ki mamangda sigi notice se pi badarkar ta haiba. The Vice President is the ex officio chairperson nima se Council of State ke Rajya Sabha gi hana se member amu oiramba does not hold any other office of profit and aduga atopa office of profit haibadi government job kumba and atopa Lok Sabha gi member oiba and atopa magi office ki amta profit loba ya deba ko magi eligibility sina subri the citizen of India gi citizen ama oirani and magi chahi sina 35 years complete oidaba ya 35 ki makhaya deba ko should be qualified for election as a member of Rajya Sabha gi election gi qualified oiba member am oibitaba so not hold any office of profit under the union government or state government gi makhada thaba amna tawba ya da ID government job mai tare ko and electoral college adi kana no mangon bot hada doisi hai taraga di electoral college sing sida elected member of Rajya Sabha gi member laire and nominated member of Rajya Sabha da elected member and nominated member ani suibe elected haiba de koina vote tawra khanba nominated haraga nai kogi president na prime minister na tawraga nominate tawraga khanba ko si mi se any magi specialized field dai hai tar sports ki gumba specialized field gi khalai nominated tawraga khalak pa yai ko elected member of the Lok Sabha gi su elected member yawgani magi electoral college da what are the election procedure election kamaina tawi Vice President gi as far 68 of the Constitution, the election to fill the vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of the office ki term do adun expire oiram dai do ko chahi manga ni haire president amana puri se adu chahi manga se expire toram dai da ko before expiration ni mamang da numit taruk ni sidagi ngasi date 5 ta expire oi dore hai taraga di numit taruk ni mamang dagi 5 to gi taruk ni mamang dagi date 1 dagi natraga date 29 30 swai sidagi election gi matang da we discuss ta bahawrane ba article 324 of the constitution read with the president and vice president election Vice President in election in 1952 say article 324 of the constitution the yawi and the presidential and vice presidential election gi magi rule do na 1974 da yawi whereas the superintendence direction and control of the conduct of the election of the office of vice president in India Election Commission of India na si election se tawgane but the notification of the election shall be issued on or after the 6th day before the expiration 6 day mamang the expiration oibai 6 day mamangda natragana 6 day gi haidi ngasi date 1 2 3 4 5 ko 6 ni haraga so magi 1 2 3 4 5 sida sum tawbi ai ba 6 day mamang dagi on or before haidi ko since all the electors are member of the board houses elector khudingma board houses ki member ni ko Rajya Sabha gi and Lok Sabha gi aduna magi vote ki value se amaka oigane ba ko vote the value of vote of each member of parliament would be the same as one magi vote ki value do amaka oigane ba akoina president election dadi vote ki value se mi amagi vote value ama oide ko one oide ko mi amagi vote value magi population gi matung ina MLA gi magi yambagi ko masing dugi ko number of population of MLA gi matung ina adumaina tara calculate tawre ba ko magi vote value se amana 700 800 MP gi vote ki value 700 800 adai de leyeba ko sumaina president election gi di magi house of the parliament ki anima house anima ki magi vote value se one ne baloina mak chapma ne ba accordingly the secretary general Lok Sabha will be appointed as the returning officers of the present election of the office of the vice president of India and aduga kaidawni Lok Sabha dagi secretary general ama lawgani appoint tawgani as the returning officer when a returning officer haibadi akoina sigi election toriba mayam se returning officer haibadi statutory body amane ba komana election sigi polling se conduct tawnaba kama counting do process to counting gi process to mana conduct tawgani ba ko and aduga validity se ballot paper gi validity do adu su yengane ba and akoina Election Commission of India na adugi overrule tawbagi power lay roeba kanagi kogi returning officer se sibu overrule tawbanga moiba mak se kaino statutory body neba the commission also decide the appoint assistant returning officer amana returning officer lay amana assistant returning officer lay bako in the parliament house Lok Sabha dagi kaidona ba returning officer se sibu yengsanaba neba amo as per Rule 8 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Election Rule 1974, polls for the election are taken in the Parliament House. Aduga magi vote tawam famsina Parliament House tawgani ba. Kyan tarni ko na presidential election gi matang da next topic tawrasi. Next topic sina India slams China for blocking move against JAM Deputy Chief. India and USA na kay dawre handak se Wednesday numit ngarang se JEM hairiba ko JC Muhammad and hairiba sige organization se UNSC gi terrorist ki wanted list to adu da hap na bahaina yenge ba ko hap na ba tawrami ba adu matang da China na yaningam de ba ko adu gi yaning da badu da India na China se slam tawrami hai bane ba election se election hairu da gi election na thore Kanabuno India na hapna batawri se JC Muhammad ki magi UNSC da hapna batawri se Asgar hairi ba Rof Asgar sibune ba Rof Asgar se kanano se dalai brother of JC Muhammad Chief Masood Azhar ko Masood Azhar gi manau no plan and executed mana hogi hijack tawbagi ko terrorist ki activities mayam ama India da tawgre and adutanatana parliament attack kumba ko terrorist strike on security force in the Pulwama attack tai khogi mi mayam ama sigi bado 2019 da Pulwama attack ta 42 something sumaina khogi Indian army sigi bane ba wanted for organizing training camps fundraising drives coordinating with Lashkar-e Taiba and anti-Indian attacks mayam se activity sing jeta ba aduna India na Sigi pose India and US pullaga United Nations Security Council gi magi terrorist tackle tawnaba adugumba terrorist ki list wanted terrorist ki list hap ke tawa matam da China na yaningakte bako adugi China bu slams tawrami haibane ba terrorist ki sikumba counter tawa matam di China se maning halli haina sida koina important ori se amtanate UNSC sineba United Nations Security Council and magi terrorist ki kamaina counter tawi haibado adu mayam duneba yengase aikoina United Nations Security Council sigi matang dahana United Nations Security Council se GS paper 2 important international institution global grouping international treaties and agreement United Nations Security Council habadi the United Nations Security Council established United Nation 1945 the United Nation na established tawbani it is one of the 6 principal organ of the United Nation gi 6 principal organ lay organ taruk tu da mark se amane ba mangaduna kari karino General Assembly, United Nations General Assembly, United Nations Trusteeship Council, Economic and Social Council, International Court of Justice and the United Nations Secretariat Council ama laire ko si manga laire and taruk subasini United Nations Security Council neba. Its primary responsibility is to work to maintain the international peace and security. Magi responsible si kaino international peace and security thamba sineba ko terrorism tackle tawbasu sigi peace and security manung chida yaure. The presidency of the Security Council rotate alphabetically each month ha kudingi magi presidency se country amana natragana country amana alphabetically rotate oeba ko. Role of United Nations Security Council magi role sina the most important function of United Nations Security Council is maintaining peace security at international level the maintaining peace and security tawba ngasai hai ki beduni. Apart from the maintaining peace tanatana Security Council can also deploy United Nations peacekeeping operation and impose sanction on the state. United Nations Security Council gi sanction and harise handa Russia and Ukraine gi conflict tawba matam da Russia Ukraine gi war matam da Russia da United Nations Security Council da khoi India ne kaine pullaga karamba country na Russia da sanction pi ni Russia ge against the pi gani hana voting tawbodo adumaina United Nations Security Council da sanction gumba tawbagi mangon da power sula state mayam amada. The United Nations Security Council can also impose diplomatic relations severance, financial restriction PBI and penalties, blockade and even collective military action phauba tawbaya ba United Nations Security Council na magi members sing se permanent member manga amala and non permanent na tara layaba adu punna magi members se tra manga su. The 5 permanent member include kanano 5 permanent members se China, France, Russia, United Kingdom, United States manga sine magi 5 permanent member do and non permanent members sina silaga sum layeba ko. The first session of the United Nations ahan bakai da tawi United Nations Security Council gi 17 January 1947 da taweba. The 5 permanent member are given great power of unanimity referred to as the veto power ko ngasai gi 5 permanent member da piriba P5 haina kawi ko P5 member si da piriba magi power se veto power ko ba habadi koina resolution ama pass tawge habadi pass tawge haiba matamda ko member se tra manga laire na tra member tra manga sida manga amana saigi 5 permanent member ni and tara amana koigi member ne ba ko non permanent member ni sida aikoina resolution ama laire resolution se pass tawge haiba taragadi sigi tara sigi vote ti laire na khala se bo en sige manga sida mari ama lairaga amana yahuda bataragadi ko magi veto power se amana sizinaraga sige resolution se pass taw ba yaroeba ko maramdi resolution ama pass taw ge haiba taragadi P5 ka permanent 5 members se sige manga makki vote se darkar taeba duna. Selection of the non-permanent member of the Security Council. Non-permanent member kamaina selected we are elected for 2 years term by the United Nations General Assembly da magi Security Council se sigi Security Council sigi non-permanent member gi election tawi hauji 2022 da kana ori non-permanent member gi Albania, Brazil, Gabon, Ghana, India, Ireland, Kenya, Mexico, Norway, United Arab Emirates tara sin hauji non-permanent member oireba. The 10 non-permanent seats are distributed on the regional basis. The non-permanent seats se distribute tawi ko African Asian dagi manga country manga and amana Eastern European country dagi Latin America and Caribbean countries dagi animana Western Europe and atopa country dagi. India to chair Counter-Terrorism Committee. The United Nations sai 2022 gi January da India da magi India na chair taweba kana karamba committee the Counter-Terrorism Committee se United Nations Security Council de yauriba Counter-Terrorism Committee se India na chair tawi after 10 years ki matung da ne India will chair the Counter-Terrorism Committee United Nations Security Council 2022 after 10 years se tawgre ko. The Counter-Terrorism Committee was established. Counter-Terrorism Committee se kanana established taubano Security Council Resolution 1373 adopted unanimously on 28 September 2001 the established taubani in the wake of the 9/11 attack 2001 da kui 9/11 attack taw khibado adugi result oina si se develop tawkhibane, establish tawkhibane. The committee was to task with monitoring implementation of the resolution 1373, which requested country to implement a number of measures aimed at enhancing and legal institution ability to counter terrorist activities at home and around the world. Ko country khuding mangna sagi measures sing do ekhoi terrorist activities tawdana bagi damakta ekhoi India da US ta tanatana atopa country mayam da dugi measure to implement tawna bagi neba. This include kari yawi magi steps sing sida criminalize the financing terrorism. Terrorism da finance to bodo paisa piba mayam do criminalize ohenba, freezing any fraud related person involved in act of terrorism da yauramba or terrorism da yaw hena chingna balai ragadi magi any fund khudingma freeze tawba, deny all form of financial support for terrorist group, suppress the provision of safe haven ko provision of safe haven hojikti terrorism se India da terrorism bomb am thadara mena khalesi adugi poto mafam atopa mayam am da lot laga leiba mayam da lot handana ba ko safe haven do thamhandana ba suppress tawna bagi adu su yawi. Sustenance or support for terrorists and share information with other government ga information share tawba and or any other groups practicing or planning terrorist act. Beside the committee sina monitor tawi step taken to cooperate with other government atopaga step mayam ama lakhot pado terrorism se kamaina is cooperate tawgani, terrorism se kamaina tackle tawgani habdo cooperate tawraga ko country khudingma cooperate tawraga tawriba mayam do aduda amana amagi help tawbo in investigation, help tawba detection, detention, arrest, extradition and prosecution mayam se da help tawgane ba. Gyan tarni ko United Nations Security Council plus the committee ki se counter terrorism committee ki matang da. Next topic tawrasi. Next in a text and context agini, what is the Criminal Procedure Identification Act 2022? Criminal Procedure Identification Act sigi matang dani sigi act se replace tarakpani kanabu ekhoi Identification of Prison Act 1920 na hariba sigi Prison Act se sibu replace tawraga form tawbane bako sigi ekhoi Identification of Prisoner Act sida 1920 sida khara details collect tawbagi mangonda ayaba khara pi ba kari details ai ke fingerprinting gumba footprints gumba photograph gumba ko magi physical structure gumba laubagi adugumba sida mi amagi identify tawbagi ko criminal amana tragana offense tawkiba mi amagi identification tawnabagi damakta ko magi permit khara pi ba ko government na plus magi rules gi matungina aduga new act sidasu adugumba khara change tawre hanadagi hena khara vastly identify tawnabagi damakta ekoina sidagi pawe saruktane sida oini yengasi. Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022 GS Paper 2 Fundamental Right Judgment and Cases wa news ta laibagi maram khange koina Lok Sabha da introduce tawre ado presidential gi president ki aya basu phangre ko president gi sign phangba taragadi aikoina ek ama bill ama ek onthokma matamda kaino darkar tarse president gi aya ba darkar tai president na yarabane pass tawrabane bako aduna sigi bill se ek oina hoji onthokre. What are the provision of the bill? Collect sample ahan bada sample collect tawbagi ko it would allow police and prison authorities to collect police na and plus prison authorities na magi data collect obia store obia and analyze physical and biological sample. Physical sample laire physical sample di o photograph kumba ko hand return gumba and biological hairaga de koina ekoi gi DNA gumba ko including retina iris scan si mayam ju mit ki ko scan tawba si mayam ji su magi data collection sida yawra aneba. Resistance to or refusal to allow taking the measurement karigumba sige measurement si lauge tawba matamda prisoner amana yarakta bataragadi Indian IPC ko Indian Penal Code section 186 ki matungina adu offense oiganeba. It will also seek apply for this provision to person held under the preventive detention law. It also authorized for taking measurement of convicts to gi magi measurement lo bayagani and other person for identification and investigation in the crime matter. It doesn't define in the other person, implying its ambit beyond convicts, arrested person or detainees. Sida lairiba ma phajana detain tawba mira natragana convict ki di yare ko ma se convicted person ni mara leirabani hena le yare aduge arrested person sidi mase mara leite khangde phaba ta ngai re bako phaba ta ngai ri ba mi su sida fazana other person hairi se kanano haibado define taram de bako aduna phaba ta ngai ri ba mi su oibe ai magi data collection se lokhibe ai natragana detainees ki su oibe ai bako mara leiba leita bai ko gi any ek amada tawraga phazalaba matungda magi data do collect tawba ai bako and adugi matungda power to record measurement sigi measurement mayam se data mayam se power to record tawraga thamgane ba kanana personnel police up to the rank head of the constable have been authorized to record the measurement. The National Crime Record Bureau sinaneba thamdu se kanana no the National Crime Record Bureau will be repository of physical and biological sample signature and handwritten data can be preserved for at least 75 years thamgane ba convicted person dugi NCRB sina mana National Crime Bureau ko Record Bureau sina has also been empowered to share the record with any other law enforcement agency magi matungin NCRB matungina atopa mana agency singa NIA gumba hairaga su yare ne mi amagi magi crime record crime tawre na khale mafam duga hana tawki duga hapit mana na adu mayam do investigate toba matam season na ba NCRB sina magi details record mayam do data mayam do NIA da mung pi khibiya ne ba ko haidi atopa agency amada piba yaga ne ba what is the significance of the bill gi significance kaino ahan ba de koina modern technique mayam ama season na re aduna mi amagi kano matam data maram da loina ma khangabani na mathang da tarokba any crime ama tarakwa matam da manara up tawrba crime ama tarakwa matam da adudagi ekoina irai na phaba ngamgane investigation agency sing da ilai na koina help tawba ngamgane health investigation agency make the investigation of the crime more efficient ko investigation tawba da amukhena efficient oirane ba adugi matungda sigi bill sigi issues mayam amasule issues se kaino ahan bada it has been argued that the bill was beyond the legislative competence of parliament. It is violated the fundamental right hari by kogi right se violate toy bakari right no right to privacy se kanagi makhada no article 21 da kogi right to life se sigi manung da chanba right to privacy se right to life ki manung da chali haina putta swami gi case ki matung in high gra baneba the bill proposes to collect sample even from the protester engaged in the political protest ko sigi thabak se yaning de sigi bill si yaning de haina protest wa matam da pharaga dugi meeting dugi su political protest gi lokhalaga ma collection sample collection taw baya adu sing do violate tawiba it violate article 20 violate tawi constitution gi article 20 sina kai no person accused of an offense shall be compelled to be witness against himself. It violates human right provision as laid out in the United Nations ki charter da yawriba human right to violation tawi habaneba. Also it implied use of force in clause 6.1 to take measurement violates the right of the prisoner kogi prisoner ki right violates tawi habaneba. Write down in the Katina of Supreme Court judgment beginning the A.K. Gopalan 1950, Kharak Singh 1964, Charles Sobras 1970 and Silabras 1983, Pramod Kumar Saxena 2008 sida magi judgment mayam do loina mana violate tawi habane prisoner gi right ki maram da loina ma ibang aktani si khuding mak se ajiki anoba act se criminal procedure identification act 2022 sina loina ma violate tawi habane ज्ञान तारनी को मतंग अस्तेगी वीडियो सिलोसन जरगे वीडियो सिना मयाम दा काना बखजितंग पीरा वीडियो सिबु सपोर्ट बोइना लाइक सब्सक्राइब एंड शेयर टू व्यू थैंक यू।